Shanghai Dragons taking firm control of point A.
This might be Valiant's moment here.
Unco rolling this fight.
Undead popping up where they didn't expect him.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's brutal.
He shuts him down.
This is everything for the Shanghai Dragons.
Another good fight for Valiant.
Great moment for MG.
That's a great kill.
One more time, Shanghai on the point.
Fate right in
Gonna
there.
actually get it. Ooh, ooh, he's going for it.
And now we have ourselves a round.
Back and better than ever. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. This crowd is awesome. We got a sold-out crowd here to close out the final day here of week one. Welcome back to the desk. We got Brent, we got Crumbs, we've got Zoe. And before we hit this final match here of week one, what are the best moments? What are the best things about stage two so far, Crumbs?
The fact that we're back to Overwatch League and there wasn't a big break where we had to just sit around doing nothing. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I like about it.
I mean, you weren't sitting around doing nothing. You were in Arizona doing the test for stuff.
Yeah, because I couldn't get enough.
You just couldn't get enough of Overwatch.
More Overwatch, and I still couldn't satisfy.
I'm glad we can bring you some more. And to catch everyone up at home, if you were watching the games today, you watched Philly dismantle the Florida Mayhem. They get the 4-0 EQO shines once again. Houston just defeated Boston 4-0, getting some revenge. And now we're going to see Shanghai versus the Valiant. Will the hometown squad be able to get a win here in week one? We'll find out in just a moment. But first, we have to introduce their opponents. Give it up for the Shanghai Dragons. Altering, leading the squad today, and this team was so fun to watch against the Dallas Fuel. They showed us some quad tank. Undead was popping off on the Widow. Overall, they're improving, but they're still looking for their first win.
Yeah, well, the quad tank was a great look for this squad. They actually were cohesive. They were able to take points decisively, and it was a new look that we didn't expect to see out of the Dragons. So I'm expecting a lot if they can pull this composition again.
Yeah, it was great to watch their match against the Dallas Fuel. They really improved in a lot of different aspects. Single players popped off. We saw them having great defense moments as well, which is something we've been lacking on stage one.
Yeah, in general, I'm going to be paying attention to mainly Undead and Dia this match at least. These guys, they always bring the money. They always bring the bacon home, don't they, at the end of the day for Shanghai Dragons? Always
Not really.
performing. Well, maybe not on that level, but at least they get killed.
They brought it close to home.
They
Will
brought
they
it
be able
close
to
to
bring
home.
it into the house? That's the question today. And we do have a lot of Shanghai fans in this studio here. It seems every week they have more and more people turning up. We got some signs. Shanghai is undead, one of my favorites out there. That is a look at the all-Chinese lineup. They will get a chance to take on the hometown squad. And let's hear it for our green team as we welcome them to the stage. It's your Los Angeles Valiant. So much love in the venue today. You hear the soon chant continues here. And this squad, they look so strong towards the end of stage one, but they didn't pick up a win against Seoul. They faced off earlier this week, and it wasn't anything like their first, meaning this one 0-4 in the loss.
They're going to have to challenge the energy of the atmosphere to make sure that they can be themselves again. Their loss against Seoul, they were all over the place. I think that they just did not play up to the standard that we've seen from them at all. So today should be hopefully what we can see and call their first appearance in stage 2.
The players have been very much aware of their performance during their first game against the Dynasty. There were a lot of disappointment, disbelieving statements on Twitter. I think Soon even tweeted, "We were so bad, ... And Agilities also took to Twitter to apologize for his performance. So I'm almost certain that this team is hungry to prove themselves today.
Yeah, and in general, I mean, Valiant as a team that have always been a little bit slower to get started, and that applies both in their matches and in the stages. They've always seemed to require a little bit of a bit of a running head start to really get the ball rolling for them. So I have high hopes for this team still in stage 2, despite the fact that they are just coming off of a loss. This is their opportunity to pick up a win potentially here today, and to once again get that momentum moving forward so they end up in the stage 2 playoffs.
Interesting to see Verbo in the lineup once again alongside Unco. If you're watching stage 1, Kareev was normally next to Unco on those support roles. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup in general from the Shanghai perspective. This is a squad that has been tuning. They're trying to add items to their arsenal. The new players aren't here yet, but they have been able to make some improvements, Zoe.
Absolutely. As I mentioned already in the walkout, that during their match against the Dallas Fuel, their defense looked really solid. on Route 66 as well as on Hollywood, they really held against a very aggressive Dallas Fuel. And it just seemed like that little bit was missing. They were still a little bit timid in their approach when taking team fights, and that seems to be a communication thing. But once they get that sorted and have a bit more confidence going into those fights, I'm really certain they can take it.
And this team is just making me very curious as to what exactly is going on. So today for this match, I'm just going to be looking exclusively at Undead. Every single move under a microscope just to figure out
a lot of pressure.
one player at a time. I know, but I don't know if he understands.
The man with
it,
the
but
hat.
He'll know. He'll know.
Why are you putting the pressure on Undead,
Well, I
not
think
just Dia?
This is one of the players that I think will most likely stay in the lineup when new players come around. He's been performing really consistently when he switched over to the hit scan and just popping off. So I think that he is one of the guys that is most likely to be what the team is likely to be built around. And so you know that he has these fantastic moments time and time again in pretty much every match that he plays. However, it never amounts to an actual win. So I just want to boil it down and figure out exactly what he can do or what the team is doing that is causing the Shanghai Dragons to struggle.
What more do you want him to do, Crumbs? I mean, the man,
Exactly,
have you not
right?
seen from
And
these
that's what I want
clips?
to
Look
know.
at him.
That's what I want to know.
He's
I wanna know,
dominating
can
the
he
game.
do more? I feel like he can't do more, but that's what I want to find out.
Shanghai, the underdogs today. Who do they have to be afraid of on the other side of the stage, Zoe?
I mean, everyone. We're talking about
Whoa.
Valiant here. I'm sorry, but
Valiant?
they have been incredible solid threats stage one. And I do think that all across the board, the supports, their tanks, and their DPS with Soon, they're dangerous. Like, you can't really ignore any of them.
All right, I like that call. Look out for Soon. He is the tracer to watch in this battle for me. Also, what is Dia going to play today? He showed us he can do it all. It's time to find out as we set it backstage. Give it up for Mr. X and Uber on the mic.
Thank you, Puckett. And Disc elected not to mention something that I think we all should be wondering.
Yeah.
There's 3 support players on the Valiant right now.
Yeah, so they're not playing Agilities and they're not playing Silk Thread. They have Verbo, Kariv, and Unko in the game right now. So one of them will have.
One of them's playing DPS.
One of them's playing DPS. We'll have to see who.
Probably not Verbo, to be honest. He'll probably be on that Lucio role. But what we know is that there's a new coach now coming into the Valiant. Okay, so his name is MBC. I call him Coach Moon. He used to coach Fate and Kariv on the mighty AOD team in Korea that they came from. So already we're seeing sort of ground up changes now in this particular roster. I would expect that Kariv will be playing the DPS. I think you agree with me, Matt?
Yeah,
We've seen him play the Widowmaker on occasion for this team, so maybe he might be sort of doing a lot more of that in this match.
Yeah, it was something they did at the end of Contenders where they struggled a little bit. I remember one game on Dorado, and me and Gold were freaking out. They take Agilities out. At that point, they had Grim Reality in the lineup, playing a DPS role, and Kariv, jumped in, played a DPS role. At that time, Doomfist was so prevalent. He played some Doomfist for them. So
that's right.
I imagine he will play some sort of DPS. I'm interested to see how they make it work, though, with really having another support player come in who can play a DPS role.
Yeah, I mean, Kariv has functioned as that individual, sort of like a Raucous in the same way on the Outlaws.
Plays a lot of DPS.
Yeah, I mean, some teams like Soldier 76, the Widowmaker, right? It's almost like the flex supports have that expectation to be able to make that switch. And it's good because if you're going to see Lucio on the lineup, then one of Kariv or Unko probably is going to be riding the Pine on the bench. But Kariv's back in this roster. Los Angeles, make some noise here for the Dragons and the Valiant. Shanghai looking for their first victory here in the Overwatch League. In their last 5 losses, they've only managed to win 3 maps, and all 3 were against the Dallas Fuel. There's much work to be done, but it all starts here on Hanamura.
Well, I think the bright spots we've seen from Shanghai have really been Dia and Undead, like Crumbs talked about on the desk. Undead has been very good. I think Dia has been their most consistent, their best player throughout, their season thus far. In a game like this, where, the other team's experimenting with, a support player coming in and playing DPS, if you can get your DPS duo to start performing in a way we've seen them perform in the past, maybe they can make this one close.
Valiant lined up now in a green and gold finery, looking like they just walked out of Kokiri Forest. But bear in mind, Soon was very, very weak against the Seoul Dynasty recently in that 4-0 loss that they suffered. He was shut down by Bunny. Now it's up to him to really start to, again, exercise his influence over the battlefield as he did previously.
So Kariv will be playing Soldier 76 on defense. We'll see how this works for the Los Angeles Valiant. We saw Silk Thread play a lot of 76 in stage 1, and the dive comes in fast here from Shanghai.
Okay, all they get for that is a bit of damage on Envy, though, and they've actually lost Altering. Roshan also dropping down, so Soon very quickly gets involved with that fight. It removes a tank and a support. That is what I would generally categorize as a very unsuccessful dive.
So it'll get wiped up here by the remaining members of the Valiant. So Shanghai doesn't really make any progress with that, like you said. You know, they tried to dive into the back onto Kariv and the supports, and they kind of worked their way back to the point, but they weren't able to pick up any kills in that whole exchange.
It seemed very telegraphed, that dive as well. They kind of walked over the threshold, took a bunch of early poke damage.
And something from Shanghai that's quite interesting too, we haven't seen them play a ton of Genji. Both of these DPS players are usually hit scan. You see Dia playing Genji here, and it's going to be Undead on Tracer, who takes Fade out early. 2 big kills are going to get Envy demaxed.
No tank presence now. Losing the Winston, missing the D.Va. Megan's not ideal. Soon trying to go in for a play there. Not going to work out. I believe the pulse bomb was delivered, but didn't connect. Kariv found Dia in the meantime with the Helix Rocket direct hit, and there is a chance here. A scant opportunity for the Valiant to recontest as if he tries to push in. That's the Transcendence, that's the go signal. Kariv wants to flank around, better sight lines. He's forced, or at least sees Free Phil go for his Transcendence as well. And yeah, it's got to be given up.
This is not good. There's an opportunity where the Valiant gets staggered really hard here, Mitch.
Do they have to commit to this fight now?
You're going to see Fate die. Envy will get demacked. They're going to lose Unko as well. And now you're going to see the speed boost come in here for the Dragons. They have a Dragon Blade to work with here, as well as the sound barrier. I'd like to see them take advantage of it.
The Dragons looking dangerous. They're setting up here. Most of the players in the Valiant are in position now. It's not a long walk for them, but still the Dragons are trying to shake them free of their perch at the start of the fight. Sound barrier in. Dia now looking for the Dragon Blade here. The tactical visor from Kariv is starting up to cut down the Angry Ninja. Now though, he's going to deal with the big monkey. Primal Rage being used here. And Fate trying to zone Dia out. He does it perfectly. Removes him from the fight, and it's just Undead, not quite Undying, who is being removed by Envy.
Would you have liked to see Shanghai not exactly go for a setup there and just kind of speed boost straight to the point? Like maybe just kind of catch the Valiant off guard a little bit?
There has to be a reason why they weren't able to do that around that left side. I don't know if they were all together. I don't also know if there was a D-suit there on MG or if he got back in. Either way, by the time they got to the point, Matt, the LA Valley were pretty well set up anyway.
Yeah, because
have a Lucio.
Yeah, Kariv is out towards the front, right, of the point. So if they all kind of went towards that left-hand side, or tried to play for the high ground a little bit, right away, they may have been able to get a decent advantage.
Wasn't the case though. No ticks from that one. Just kind of even an ultimate percentage. Now soon, yeah, doesn't want to use a recall here. He'll definitely try and pick up a health pack before choosing a recall. Diaz actually smashed him at long range there, removed half of his HP. Easy target, oh, he should have been. Roshan now with the Primal Rage. I think he thought that bomb was going to be stuck to him, but it didn't connect. Still just going to try and make use now of that sustain ultimate. Fate, half HP, not getting healed right now, so needs to just keep his head down, and Free Phil can now establish on this perch, or not. It's going to be Fate dropping in to try and shake him loose. Free Phil has the Transcendence, he's going to go for it immediately. They push on to the point. Roshan, very pleased to benefit so quickly from that Transcendence healing. He was down to about 15% HP. Soon, tickling in the backline here. Free Phil being put under pressure. Roshan dropping elsewhere, and that's a self-destruct on the point to force the Valiant back for the time being, but it will break back into the point. Kariv untouched essentially in the backline up until now that MG notices he's a threat and pushes in.
Yeah, Aldering able to stay alive on Mercy. He's going to pop his Valkyrie. Shanghai investing a lot into this fight. Undead on the point as well, putting down some...
Oh, beautiful!
They pushed on through. There's the second tick for Shanghai.
I don't think the Valiant can get here. Kariv up on the higher level, trying to get at least some vantage point, but soon was supposed to be the anchor on the point. Kariv pops tactical visor just as the round finishes. There was no one there to keep the round going, and this is looking good from the Shanghai Dragons. In terms of kills overall, 15 total kills for the Dragons, 12 for the Valiant. I'm liking these guys right now. The Dragons are looking like they're ready to scrap.
Well, you saw a nice switch up where Undead gave up Tracer there to go to 76. Dia then picked up Tracer as we went to the second part of the map. Then also Altering playing Mercy there. We saw a lot of the time where Soon's just trying to chunk down some HP from Free Feel on the Zenyatta, and he's just getting pocketed by the Mercy. And then Valkyrie towards the end just provides so much healing there on that point. Able to connect with 3 or 4 members, get up in the sky, nobody really with an opportunity to attack.
Fascinating, isn't it? The changes to Mercy, if anything, they've just made other supports just as viable without removing her completely.
Well, yeah, it's quite nice. We're seeing a good mix of supports. I think everybody, coming into stage 2 is like, oh, we're never going to see Mercy at all. But, we've seen a healthy mix of all the supports. Lucio, Ana, Moira, and even, some more Mercy than I think a lot of us expected.
Unko, of course, is a very potent Ana player, as well as Zenyatta. So both teams have plenty of options at their disposal. interesting not to see sort of 5 King here for the Shanghai Dragons in this particular match. So we've got Altering and Feedfield. So I would be surprised if they sort of use a heck of a lot of Lucio here. You can see now defensively, they're setting up with that Ana and Zenyatta. And again, this is a bit risky because Soon is going to see this and know that he can pressure these supports, and there's not going to be a lot of peel. It'll probably be down to Undead himself even to try and protect them. As you can see, he's standing close by both the healers.
When the dive comes in from the Valiant, they'll just try and, biotic grenade a lot of those members as they come on through. It's interesting, this meta we've talked about how it affects a lot of teams may help Shanghai in the fact that you don't exactly need a Genji. You can play a lot of 76 and Tracer on some of these maps, even Widowmaker Tracer as well. Some of the things they excelled at during stage 1.
This is fascinating though. The Valiant come out with a quasi-dive composition. I say that because they're running a Moira here, so quite often in place of this would be like a Zenyatta on the attacking side. They've got a plan though. There is a Diva present for the Dragons, so MG can eat up those biotic orbs from Unco and limit the damage or healing that they would otherwise provide. But let's see what the plan is. Bit of a slambulance without that extra meat, and it seems like that might have been what they were lacking coming into this fight, because Fate is taken down immediately. It's a fade forced out of Unco. He's super low on HP. No healing forthcoming for him. Verbo's going to drop down, so there's definitely no healing for Unco, except his own orb. And this is definitely flopped from the Valiant.
Yeah, it just seemed like Unco was a little bit far away from Fate on that initial push to get that healing. As Moira onto Fate as he jumped in. He dies immediately to MG. That'll be a good first fight for the Shanghai Dragons. Soon still behind enemy lines. I wonder if Shanghai has any idea.
This is so fascinating, watching Kariv on this Genji. We just don't see this. We just haven't seen this before. And again, he's got to be, thinking about it too, because he's been compared to players like Agilities and of course Silk Thread. So far, not so bad though. Up on the high ground, Dragon Blade. He's just adding his damage to the pile. Altering crumbles under the weight of the many times forged blade, and MG will be removed. Bionic Grasp there to get the extra damage across and soon finishes the job. Removing Roshan. Much better dive from the Valiant, a team that we've known in stage 1 to be the biggest dive aficionados out there.
Yeah, it's a very fast Dragon Blade build-up for Kariv in a fight that they lose in that first one. He comes into the second fight, 98% to his Dragon Blade. They'll unlock that first point. They'll take point A. Now as they move into point B, do we see somebody switch off to like a 76 or a McCree to try and control the high ground? It looks like they're going to go with the dive straight away.
Straight through the front door, then up to the high level. Soon being left to his own devices, essentially on that low ground now, but the tactical visor from Undead. It's already cleaned up Unco. Verbo not far behind. There wasn't much to prevent that damage coming through. Envy couldn't be in position. He was busy diving the high ground. He couldn't peel back and use that defense matrix to stop the tac visor.
Well, they send a few players up to the high ground, to the Valiant, and then they try and use their coalescence from the bottom to kind of just heal those players up at a distance with Moira.
Kind of a bad angle, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when Undead just pops his tac visor and just mows Unco down there in the middle. Some changes come in for the Valiant, though. They'll bring in Kariv on the 76, so now they're going to go for a little bit more high ground control, right? You'll have Unco set up there, land those discords. They'll provide some damage assistance with Kariv.
Yeah, this definitely feels a bit more conservative an approach from the Valiant. Try and set up, get position, force the Dragons away, and then sally forth from that high ground and get damage done. Undead's forced away. Fate's very low as he hits the ground there. Primal Rage now being used. The Transcendence is only working for the low ground. Undead wants to try and get to the healing aura, but he can't make it. The trade is there, though. Unco does get beaten, battled, and bruised on the outside by the Primal Rage of Roshan, but it's a 5v4, favoring the Valiant for now.
They're going to have one player coming off spawn here, Shanghai, though. They'll be at full strength coming on in. I think the Widowmaker pick, Undead gets a pick here. I think it's a very interesting call. We don't really see there's so much Widowmaker on point B defense here. I mean, you can use it in that back behind the point, right? And then if people dive, almost like a Horizon where you can get back to the spawn a little bit, but you don't have like the great spawn point on Horizon to just kind of like walk right back out.
It just means that the Valiant have to now commit to this much more. Because they're running only a single diving DPS, it may be somewhat more difficult to remove the Widowmaker. You also have to dedicate a higher proportion of your resources. If you want to dive that Widowmaker with any certainty of removing her, it just puts you in a risky position. You want to trace a Genji, generally speaking, to try and really mess with Undead today. Now they have the Infrasight as well, so they know what the Valiant are doing. And right now it looks like it's just a bit of a teet-a-teet out there, and the pulse bomb from Dia does not find its mark.
Kariv getting closer to that tactical visor, though. It'll be Verzo using a sound barrier. be a Transcendence use here for the Valiant as well, so they double up on support ults when the Nano Boost comes in on a Roshan.
Yeah, so as the smoke clears and no support ults are used, no one's fallen just yet. The real damage, though, surely is yet to come. Roshan trying to really rouse the rabble in those close quarters, but again, doesn't find any targets. Undead gets dived on. No, Kareev actually catches him with a tactical visor. This is what I was talking about. Now the Valiant have that high ground position to use. Kareev only got the one kill from it. There needs to be a capitalization. There needs to be a snowball. The momentum now building for the Los Angeles Valiant, and they transition to the point.
It was actually altering in the back, who was actually able to get a sleep dart there onto Envy. Just provide enough time for him to stay alive, but it's the Valiant trying to make some more progress.
Oh, that's
point. It's a stick from Stoon on altering.
It's going to do the job, but the Transcendence had it coming from free field, and Verbo fell down to a pulse bomb as well. Both Tracer now trying to one up each other. Soon the rest of the Valiant here still have the advantage. They have priority now as they pressure onto this point. You can see Undead's on the high ground, but he has very little support, and he's got so many targets to choose from. He attempts to drop down. It was the McCree, of course, and Kareev meets him as he hits the ground. Now safe positioning still for Kareev, pressing the damage down. First tick coming through, second not far either. Quickly, Roshan drops onto the point. Nice boot by Verbo, though. He knocks him onto the low ground, so the Winston has to walk all the way back up. It's going to be super annoying for Roshan now, and the Valiant have a couple players on the point, but they're getting chunked down. They don't have a lot of healing. They might have to pull out.
Yeah, and Roshan makes a nice play. He tries to force Kareev out of the middle of the map, which may end up allowing Shanghai able to hold here, which they do. Instead of it trying to go back to the point, they have Dia contested on Tracer, just diving in and out, and then Roshan pushes Kareev all the way back out, which Kareev has a tactical visor at that moment in time. If he would have popped that, could have been huge.
This is what those long fights look like now without Mercy. It's less about her Resurrect being so potent. It's more that she has the Valkyrie for, what, 15 seconds or so? A huge amount of time, and she can give so much healing. It's sustained over a huge period of time. Obviously, she still has that, but they're not using it now. So long fights are not good for the Valiant. They want to avoid them if they can. That's a pulse bomb there. Either being eaten or just not finding its mark. Kareev is being very careful here.
So Kareev actually pops his tac visor, and then on the other side, Undead uses a Deadeye, so he doesn't want to come around the corner, so you pretty much get absolutely nothing out of that tac visor. It's a pretty good trade, actually, for Shanghai.
Roshan's forced to drop the Primal Raise in order to get up on the high ground quickly. Again, he got booped off there. Good control by Verbo, really keeping the Winston under his thumb. And here it is, now back to the point. Roshan's going to get himself a nano boost as the Primal Rage times out. Fate's the only one on the point now. They've got that second tick, and they're looking for more. The sound barrier now for 5 players on the Valiant. Kareev is going to have to run back to the point he was removed before the fight started, and now Roshan, he's out of the picture, he's down. Fate has that Primal Rage, so MG needs to be careful. Again, we can shut the Dragons players off the point now, I feel the Valiant, but soon starting to really enjoy himself here. The cleanup crew is in, Kareev has returned to the fight, MG's been removed, that's another one for Kareev now, almost there. I tell you what, they ran the gauntlet there, Matt. The Valiant, rough stuff, and they're actually behind by about 3 minutes on time bank.
Some nice plays by Verbo there towards the end. Roshan gets another nano boost. He's trying to go up towards the high ground to put some pressure onto Kareev, and I believe Verbo's up there at that moment in time. They just boop him down low. I feel like every time that Roshan tried to dive in with that nano boost to really make a difference, was either Verbo or Envy able to just knock him off of this point.
Yeah, this is what you get from a Lucio specialist in Verbo, by the way. This is what he's been, in the hyperbolic time chamber training for, the whole stage 1 where he only got a couple glimpses of play. Obviously in the preseason we saw him. And now he's back, now he's in the mix, and I've got to say, a report card for Kareev, 9 final blows, 5 deaths, 17 eliminations, so generally speaking, performing very well. I mean, we expect no less from the man, but he's putting out some big numbers, Matt. 40% accuracy on that Soldier 76, not always easy to do that. It can be a bit spammy sometimes.
And look, I mean, we've seen him play 76, we've seen him play Genji. He built up that Dragon Blade quite quickly for them to take point A. We know what he can do in the past as playing a Widowmaker, so a very good player, and not really kind of categorizing him as just a support, just a very good player overall.
Now the Dragons back on the defense and probably feeling pretty comfortable at this stage. 4 minutes on the clock is a heck of a lot of time to when it comes their turn to attack, whereas for the Valiant, they've got maybe... they can't really fight straight away. Yeah, 3 max. I'd say 2 good attacks, 1 very shoddy one, Matt. We'll see if that comes at the start of the end. That might decide things.
And they have to make sure that Unco's close to Fate when they dive in again, because remember the last time their first push ended when Fate dove in and you were not able to get that Moira healing, but it looks like they're going to go for the high ground all the way around that outside. You know, they're burning some time here too by doing this, Mitch, so it may actually be just two really good attacks, if that.
Again, high ground advantage is a real thing, whether it's in Star Wars or whether it's in a game like Overwatch, and that's what the Valiant are looking for here. They can drop down from it and have be a bit more selective about where they start these fights. So if you can see Roshan's just being pounded time after time, they're in that corner, staying alive. Again, he's getting a decent amount of healing. Kareem needs to be careful though, he can get burst out pretty quickly. This is supposed to be the dive, but Kareem kind of gets knocked off course. He attempts to climb up the building, and he was chased down there by Roshan, but Fate one-upping his opposite number on the Winston, finds himself 2, Soon's there for the extra damage. Fate with 3 kills, 4 kills in the fight. That's what the Valiant needed here. One good fight, the first one preferably, and they've got it now. They're just going to hold the point down. Dia trying to throw a spanner in the works here by removing Envy, but that was all he'll get for his trouble.
And Fate goes huge there for the Valiant. They'll take point A, 30 seconds left here. Then they take point B. They have Coalescence, they have Sound Barrier, they have Kareem building close to a Dragon Blade. On the opposing side, Undead has that tactical visor, needs to get good value out of that.
One shot. All the Valiant are going to have here. They need to make sure it strikes true. They've got some good ultimates to work with. That's the advantage of winning the first fight fairly confidently. But now they need to bring the hammer down, and it's a good start. Again, Fate finds himself on the kill feed with Roshan. Dragon Blade, oh, it doesn't connect. Undead pops the tactical visor at just the final moment, and Kareem isn't able to get in there to finish the kill. Soon has to back out pretty quickly too. Now there's both support ults being layered over the top of each other, and the Transcendence is doing so much for the Dragons right now. Roshan returns to the fray. Again, kind of gets pooped around a little bit, but he's on the point at the very least. Free field drop to Envy. Envy chasing down. He made a beeline for the Zenyatta at the start of the fight and dealt with him with the micro rockets. Unco sleepy on the job, son. Get up on your feet. There's much more to be done. Soon dancing around the point. I believe he got by the grenade and he forced his recall out. Back on the point. Dashing in. It's not going to be enough though. The Valiant comes short. Oh, they'll be sweating now, Matt.
Altering hits a biotic grenade onto Fate and Envy when Unco is there on the point, so denies any type of healing that Moira can provide both of those tanks. They get rid of both the tanks, and then what does he do? He hits a long-range sleep dart onto Unco as well, and they're able to finish him off as Moira. Really nice final point there from Altering.
Devastating impact. You use both your supporters. Now, fortunately, Sound Barrier isn't, you're not going to be too worried about Bio Grenade if you get Sound Barrier, but that Coalescence now, at that point, you may as well just turn into a Battle Moira and try to get some damage done with it, because healing is not an option. First map. Who would have thought?
A lot of time for the Dragons here, Mitch. I mean, 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, let's discuss this a little bit as well, because the Dragons, we're seeing their DPSs again trending upwards as they have been throughout the entirety of the season. Free field on Zenyatta had some excellent Transcendence use. His timings have been very good. Shanghai managed to, stabilize themselves towards the end of that round as well.
Look, I think the thing with Shanghai is just keeping Roshan alive, or just keeping his death slow, right?
Or getting him to his intended target.
Right. Right now, 16-10. On the flip side, you have Fate, who's 31-7. It's not like when they talked about Soul the other day with Miro, right? Like, what was the big difference? And really, the only cleric stat was like he just kept his death slower, which obviously it's a full team effort to make that happen. They can just keep Roshan alive a little bit longer. They can definitely steal map number 1 here.
Helix Rocket to catch Undead early, or just benefit from the healing aura of altering them?
25% ult.
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
I'll take that.
And now, let's see what the play is. The Dragons, they're running that Genji Tracer. Undead's already fairly low to start with here, and the Dragons are more than happy just to sort of walk over the threshold. Fate jumps out early. He's being pressured, and the healing is so slow. There's no burst healing for the Valiant right now. It's all healing over time, and it's not overly quick. Removing free field, though, is very good by Soon. He actually he relieves a lot of the pressure, and he's found Altering. This is the Soon that the Valiant were missing against the Dynasty.
Yeah, that's both supports dead before anything positive can happen for Shanghai. See, Roshan backs all the way back out to the spawn. They all
Peace.
Let free field heal him on up. MG, he's going to jump off the side, wants to get a new mech, get back into the action with his team. But now it's a good minute off the clock here after that first fight win by the Valiant. It's a lot like what we cast earlier with Flaherty. You got to help these supports get on through this choke. It's so brutal if you get caught on the other side.
You've got to shepherd them as you try and get through there, and there's so much AoE damage that could come. Runko could hit you with an orb, or Kareem could hit you with a Helix Rocket. Shanghai are in again. They've made the engagement. Free field still sitting outside the compound, by the way, so the Zenyatta is actually not in the picture. Soon, that's a big pulse bomb, though. Gets the D-suit on MG. That's what they're looking for. And Undead now very tentatively reconsidering making approach to this point, and Soon just gives it to him. You know he had to do it to him.
Pulse bomb on Roshan, or I believe it was on an MG. It actually kills Roshan as well. DMAX MG, they're able to take him out. in the process.
I'm watching the minimap, so as this fight starts, because I'm very interested in Freefield's positioning, how he plays from the door, and then tries to help his team from so far away. Because the Shanghai, if they break line of sight with him, then they're not going to benefit long from the harmony.
The issue is when he plays at that distance, Soon watches them all walk in, realizes that he's not there, and then goes hunting for him. But right now, Freefield's so far away. It's actually up on the perch in the high ground, back by the spawn, where you see a lot of Widowmakers sit on the offensive side.
Yeah, it doesn't want, I guess he's scared of Soon. Soon is doing this to the Dragons. Good self-destruct there from Envy. Means that MG's not going to be able to resuit anytime soon, or that probably wasn't going to be a factor anyway. So yeah, let's talk about this again, because Soon is preventing Shanghai from getting all 6 players into position. They're scared of, you know, leaving their Zenyatta alone, so instead they just leave him
to me, that fight looked like one where the Dragons were just trying to get in and force some support ults out, maybe. Just a quick dive into the back, and then save on to whether it's, you know, both of their support ults or the Dragon Blade. They actually got none of the ults out. This is going to be the Dragons going in full force using their sound barrier.
Yeah, Freefield's here this time because it's time to use that Transcendence. Otherwise, he'd probably be sitting back yet again. So far, not so bad for the Dragons. They've got no kills, though, and Soon is still staying alive after finding Roshan. Now some of these ultimates should be drawn out of the Dragons. They don't really have the time to be dilly-dallying about. MG, oh dear, surely not over the edge. Yep, he's gone. I think the Dragons realized after losing Roshan they lacked their main engagement tools, and yet Dia still wants to go for the Dragon Blade. I can't decide whether the Dragons want to fight or run. It seems like a bit of both.
I would have loved if Dia would have held on to that Dragon Blade there.
Freefield held onto his trance, I guess, at that moment.
Yeah, maybe you would have been able to, you know, force out that sound barrier in another way with, you know, the Valiant thinking it's that final fight, but Roshan gets hit with a pulse bomb just as he's about to get Primal Rage. Let's see, this is going to be a battle between Roshan right now and Kareev. We saw yesterday in a lot of our matches, you know, where there was Fisher or XQC in that one match, them doing a nice job, you know, getting in the face of these 76s.
The Dragons may have squandered their chance to win this map, and they're going to go for one last push. Kareev, tactical visor. He actually found Dia somehow in the roiling, churning mix of players. Don't know how he found him, but he got him. Kareev eventually does go down, and MG there with a self-destruct on towards Soon. Fate still healthy though, and there's a primal range in the chamber, locked and ready to go. Pressuring on towards Freefield seems to be his main aim for the time being, and it is a very low health Zenyatta. Almost no dog. Oh, Fate, what have you done? He sends himself over into the abyss. He was trying to get onto the Zenyatta, but instead he commits himself to mulch. And now Unco wouldn't be lasting very long. He actually found Undead before he got picked off by Freefield, and Verbo tries to keep it going. There's still a chance here for the Dragons to win.
All right, they have a sound barrier here to work with. Dia is actually on Doomfist right now. Switch to it to see if he could get back. Looks like he's going to stay on Doomfist. As they go over to point B, there's really no time to go back and change. They have to get good use of this sound barrier. They have a Transcendence as well.
Dia's so low though, he's already getting chunked down. Sound barrier comes in the nick of time, but he had like 10 HP outside of that. Roshan's been removed though, this could be dangerous. Transcendence is being used by all and sundry. Both Zenyatta's giving that burst healing or that in this fight over to their teams, and that's the charge in from Dia. Doesn't connect the rocket punch though, and no, I think this is going to fizzle out here. We might have ourselves a draw to start things off. The Shanghai Dragons are running out of steam, and they're running out of staying power on the point. Quick spray, Kareev knows it's over, and that's it. A well-fought map, but ultimately tied up.
The Dragons, they had a great opportunity to win that map. They were not able to complete their point A attack with enough time. No, maybe even if they had another like 30 seconds there, enough for Dia to switch off of the Doomfist. They had both support ults there coming out in the final fight. The Valiant had some ultimates as well, but maybe they would be able to give themselves a better chance.
Again, there, it's quite possible that Fate in that Primal Rage just sent himself over the edge because he thought the fight was over. Hard to tell the difference. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, perhaps. Good back and forth here in this map. The Dragons, though, they had 4 minutes. 4 minutes! Just barely got that first point there. We'll be back with map 2 just around the corner. This one's shaping up to be a bit of a cracker.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Today on Access Granted, brought to you by Toyota, I'm picking up Agilities from the LA Valiant, one of the best Genji players in the world. We're going to talk about their match against Seoul Dynasty, one that they ended up taking in Stage 1, a rematch at the beginning of Stage 2.
Is there anything you guys do specifically against Seoul to prepare?
What we did against them in Stage 1 was shut down Flood. That's the plan here too.
I was going to say, it sounds a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, a little bit of a spicy teaser there, Matt. Good to see what you've been up to during the break.
Yeah, that'll be coming out on Monday, so that's going to be Toyota Access Granted. It was fun. Film a lot of the players, Agilities there in their first episode, and it was fun chatting with the guy.
Good, good. We get some insights as well, a bit more of a laid-back environment instead of cameras. And
well, it's not exactly
laid
laid back for me because I have to ask the questions and drive the car. Speaking of Agilities, he'll be in
Not a
for map number
multitasker.
2. Yeah, not exactly a multitasker, but Agilities will come in for Karib. So Karib played the DPS in map number 1. Agilities will come in here for Control, and 5 King will come in for the Shanghai Dragons. He's like a Lucio specialist. He's refusing to look at the camera.
Yeah, no, he's
grabbing his teammate.
He's a bit camera shy.
Not exactly sure
Doesn't fancy it.
Okay, there he is. That's a good look at 5 King, but
Man with the Lucio tattoo.
yeah, he'll be playing Lucio. Get a Lucio tattoo. You're pretty much all in on playing
And
Lucio.
it stands to reason here. I feel like Control right now is maybe the only map type where teams are all in agreement that you definitely need to bring in Lucio. So getting yourself to the point first seems to be so highly valued. Of course, all the other good things that Lucio does, environmental kills, and of course a bit of sound barrier action. I'm seeing a Rogue Soon jersey in the crowd there. Shout out to you, bro. Good times. We've come a long way since those days, though, haven't we? Now here we are. Overwatch League. It's changed a lot about our experience, perception of the game. It's good to be here, but this is map 2, Matt. Now,
Agilities could play Pharah here.
yeah, I was going to ask you that. Like,
Junkrat.
what's, does it just have to be a Genji lock for this guy? Obviously, do you think it really worked out with Karib in that previous map? Like,
I thought he
is
played
there?
well.
Yep.
I mean, did you see? I didn't really see him do anything that was really bad.
No, I
as a
just-
DPS player. I thought his positioning was good. I mean, I was impressed that he could play Genji. I knew he could play hit scan right when he plays like 76 and Widow. I thought his Genji was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I suppose more just perhaps, if you look at it on the surface, it's a less expected result to see Los Angeles fail to take that map away. In fact,
True.
Take it even further. They're actually behind the 8 ball in a significant way against the Dragons early.
Well, I mean, it's obviously a very long season, right? This is their 12th game out of 40, so you bring in a new coach, you're going to try some different things. It's a little bit of like, a lot of people experimented during Stage 1. You haven't seen as many subs, in Stage 2 thus far, from a lot of our teams. They've kind of, really figured out some lineups that they want to run.
Fate is
still dying in the spot.
He's using the Reaper bug, where if you teleport into the console of the ship, you Wraithwalk, you try and walk through it, it teleports you back to spawn, and you start death blossoming. Anyway, let's jump in here. We're heading over towards Garden.
So it'll be a Pharah on both sides. Tia will play Pharah for Shanghai, and Agilities will play the Pharah here for the LA Valiant. See how this works out.
Jeez. Oh, he's already down. He got taken so low. Around the pack, and now, that's going to be the ghost thing. You'll see Verbo clearly use his crossfade there just to speed them up, and oh, that's nice. Sends MG over the edge. A tougher target to Leno's environmental kills on, given that, well, MG kind of flies, has rocket boost, little wings on the mech. Doesn't really matter here.
Yeah, I think the kill on Undead is huge, because usually in a comp like this, where you're running Pharah and Tracer, the Tracer is the one finishing off all the kills that Pharah is putting down. So without your Tracer, you're just kind of spamming down damage, and then you're letting the healers on the opposing team build up ultimate charge.
Yeah, especially when you've got Mercies on the field now as well, so that chip damage means even less than it would, against other kind of healers. And Undead's dead again! Not a great start. This time it was a pulse bomb. It's so rare. We see Tracers fell by a pulse bomb, and you've got to be thinking, Soon must be starting to flex on these nerds if he's confident enough in tracking the recall of his opposition Tracer just to stick him with a bomb.
Yeah, soon getting off to a good start here. Shanghai is going to make some changes, and Dead will play Widowmaker. Okay, no, just going to switch things up. He's going to go back to Tracer. Maybe he was trying to get like a sightline from the spawn, being able to kill Agilities and switch right back. Be able to make a play, but they're still going to go with this Pharah Tracer combination with Shanghai.
Envy now just trying to keep tabs on Dia at the very least. He needs to know if he needs to block anything. Self-destruct comes in over the top. Again, he's still watching. Quickly Risu, but again, Soon gets the first kill for the 3rd fight in a row. This time it's Roshan that is dispatched.
I absolutely love that play, though, from the Los Angeles Valley. We'll talk about it in a sec, but it'll be a sound barrier that comes in for Shanghai. Fatal Pop is Primal Rage. It looks like the Valiant gonna get the better of Shanghai. in this one. So when Shanghai tried to do that, that was actually a really smart play from Envy. Is Altering used their Valkyrie. They were going to engage with the Valkyrie. So what did they do? They launched the self-destruct in deep. Altering had to fly away, not able to chain heal, and then they used that window of opportunity to just chunk down Roshan and you lost your tank. So really smart play.
Actually is owning ultimate, Matt, for what may be the first time. Soon's just going nuts, by the way. He's got 7 kills on his own. The Dragons have 0. They have not drawn blood from the Valiant just yet. Surely in this fight, something's got to give here. It's 99% in just a moment, so it's going to have to be this fight or never. Roshan's low, though, found very little there with the primal rage, and now Envy decides to take him to task. Altering down, Undead falling as well. Dia can't get anything done with the barrage. And Soon just finds himself another one. A killless round. This may well be for the Shanghai Dragons. They found no openings, no opportunities, and the Valiant have shut the door in their face. That's a wash.
That was not good from Shanghai. Could have been better. You know, maybe they should have changed off of that Far Mercy combination, right? It wasn't exactly working for them. Maybe just try and get somebody play the hit scan, trying to get that far out of the sky. Maybe throw Zenyatta in the mix. You know, the Discord's just the way they had approached it didn't work out. Probably would have liked to see them change off of it rather than just kind of keep committing to it over and over.
It's rough. 18-0 was the kill record between these two teams. 10 of those 18 kills came from Soon, or at least he was the man delivering the final blow. 11 eliminations, so you know he's taken kill credit for almost every single one of the people that he attacked. That doesn't get much better than that, I'll be honest with you. Let's see now if the Dragons can recover, or are they just going to keep reeling here? They've got to step it up, and they've got to get themselves in gear, otherwise we'll be headed to halftime real quick.
Yeah, LA will go with a dive comp, so you'll have Verbo be playing Lucio here on Go will play Zen. Agilities will play the Genji that he's so good at. Shanghai will not have to Genji here. They'll have Dia play Tracer, and Undead will play 76. This is probably the comp where we've seen them at their best. I think when you have Dia play Tracer, I think he's their best Tracer player, and Undead can play, whether it's McCree 76 or the Widowmaker.
Wow, the Dragons are being forced out of the compound here, trying to disengage and also just sort of being shoved away. And back and forth though. Undead, nice D-suit on Envy, which now is just going to allow him to do a little bit more work, but Agilities gets a free D-suit as well. It's off the back of a replay. I don't think there's much more to be said here. He probably just goes and generates as much more of his ultimate as he can. Yeah, quick swift strike through. You can actually get back to his team here, so that's fine. It doesn't even get staggered.
Yeah, stays alive, jumps over the wall, grabs the mega health pack. He'll keep his life here as he's going to be about 80% towards his ultimate. He'll hit this Dragon Blade rather quickly before either support ult comes up. On the side of Shanghai, 5King will get close to that sound barrier. We'll see how that times out. Dead with his tack visor. We'll see what kind of position he takes, but Roshan gets picked off early again.
Yeah, what happened there? It's
like he's diving all the way into the middle.
But no one from the Dragons appeared to have gone with him, so perhaps some miscommunication there while the Dragons were busy peeling. But now it's going to get even worse from here on out. Agilities has a score to settle. And the Blade, only the one target it really needed to find there. Damn, that's rough. You can see the Dragons look so much weaker when Roshan's off the table there.
It had to be a miscommunication. He's in the middle of the map. Everybody else is back by the point, kind of rotating out towards their mega. I mean, maybe just a mistiming there from Shanghai, but that's a huge loss. I mean, you have control of the point. You have a decent stock of ultimates to use there. You should have been able to hold that for more than 34%.
Yeah, they don't really want to have to use these ultimates just to get back in control of the point now, but obviously they have no choice. So Roshan drops in fairly early again. You can see him up there by Envy, and Soon has that pulse bomb. Verbo couldn't get out of the way of the hail of bullets coming from the tactical visor of Undead. The heavy pulse rifle connecting. I think he thought that Soon was hiding just around that corner, but he wasn't there. MG's down to a self-destruct, though. This is where the real fight's happening on the point. Soon being removed. Unco coming in a little bit late, a little bit out of sync there with Soon, not able to save him or assist further. And the Dragons take it back, looking better, much improved on this round.
Yeah, the Valiant, though, they will have a Transcendence and a sound barrier for this next fight. So you think if they stay together, coordinated, you get a ton of value out of the support ults. You should be able to take this point from Shanghai. Looks like Soon will go to contest it, so he'll send Dia there to kind of battle him one-on-one.
I like this though. The entirety of the LA Valley have been forced to sort of skirt around the point instead of attacking from the front side. They actually have all of them on the point as of now. They're sort of just particularly here. You can see it's being contested. Here comes the engagement though. Fate always found altering. Altering says, no, I don't want any of that. He immediately needs to go for the Transcendence, but this may not be the most ideal timing. He's trying to keep his back line sort of topped up, and it does help. Fate wasn't able to make that kill that he was looking for. All of his targets being healed up in a matter of seconds now. Agility sets a play. This could be a big one. He needs to break this one open. He's down to half health. Lower than that as Dia cleans him up. Soon also going down to a Helix rocket off a screen and another unsuccessful push from the Valiant. Now the Dragons starting to take flight. This is what we were looking for in that previous round.
And that time we saw a great play from Roshan. He was on the point. He was able to force out that Transcendence and then pretty much just body block Unko from getting anywhere near the remaining members. It was really just Unko and Verbo getting the benefits of that Transcendence. So a nice play there from Roshan.
Hastily placed Pulse Bomb perhaps there from Dia. Could have won the game with that one, maybe if he just held on to it a little bit longer, but now Undead just scattering away, of course. As the Winston behind him was threatening him, Uncoach just found himself struggling to get away, but oh, he responds! He was 1 HP! And he deals with Undead, sends orbs across the map at him and removes him just after the tactical visor had finished. Now it's just MG trying to dash. What happened over there, Five King? I saw that! He fell off the map! That's less than ideal indeed, and the Valiant get their nose back in the game. I can't tell if Five King got booped off there or just... Yeah. He must have just absconded. He must have realized the fight was over. It just looked very strange from that angle.
But, I mean, they do have a ton of time, Shanghai, to try and make a push here to get this back. They have a sound barrier. You would have liked to have that tactical visor that you saw in Dead use. It was a really odd positioning. Wasn't able to really get much out of it. So they're going to try and go all the way around the outside on the flank here to avoid the tanks. And there's that sound barrier.
The help for the Dragons here. It means that Fate can only really just tickle them here. He can't make a huge impact, so he doesn't want to commit. Now might be the time, though. The sound barrier has expired, and he has those close quarters where it really makes sure that he can connect with as many of these targets as he can with those fists. And he's got two. Both Dia and Undead are knocked sideways by the fists. And that's what he was looking for. That's why he waited until the sound barrier had expired. Team kill gong rings out. And the Dragons... This is their last chance, and the problem being is that they are way behind an ultimate economy to have the Transcendence. Had the Pulse Bomb.
And with how good Soon has been with his Pulse Bombs, you imagine him being able to pick up one here. He gets Dia weak. Dia, it's the recall, just tries to get a touch to contest.
That was huge. As Dia tried to come across Soon's vision, he actually took half his HP away, forced that early recall. Soon now has to use his, and he's realized, okay, the rest of the Dragons are already on the point. That Pulse Bomb just come up a little bit short. Could have stuck it to Undead, and it would have killed him despite the Transcendence being there, but he doesn't quite find his mark. Agilities, is this the moment? Dragonblade, oh, he doesn't really need to be told twice, Matt. He found one already, altering down, knock off the edge for Fate, though. Five King deals with him. Shanghai Dragons still have numbers on the point here, still have a chance. Self-destruct inside the doorway here. Envy fancies himself a new mech, a new parachute, but no! The Dragons were on the point, Envy walked off. And that's it.
This would be a huge map win for Shanghai. Give them an opportunity to win this series here against the Valiant after that draw. That draw is actually huge for Shanghai.
That puts the Valiant in a position where then they have to win the rest of the maps in the series. So, yeah, that would make it 1-0 with 2 maps left to play, which is less than ideal for the Valiant. It puts you on knife edge, but... And you know what? This has actually been the map type that we've been almost the most critical of the Dragons on. We talked about this. We said, look, this is maybe the most fundamental brand of Overwatch you can expect to see, wherein it's literally just a series of staged fights that are often decided by first picks or secondarily ultimate economy. And they've had their problems on it. But they're looking really sharp here. I've got to say, when Roshan looks good, he looks really good.
Triple tank coming out for the Valiant. They'll have Soon obviously stay on Tracer, and it'll be Shanghai Dragons playing Dia on Junkrat, and they'll have Reinhardt in Zarya in play. So we'll see which Zarya can get better value here.
Yep, Fate. Oh, all right, little bit of fancy footwork. Twinkle Toes Fate's out there. Dodges away from Roshan, or maybe just moves forward. Either way, look good. Roshan gets taken down there. That Moira damage. Look at these Moiras. 70 and 80% here for Runko on his ult. Soon's very close as well. So many tanks for Soon to charge Pulse Bombs off. Hard to get single assassinations on those targets, of course, but very, very easy to get free, low-risk damage to build up your Tracer ultimates, which can have explosive consequences.
And with Shanghai running a Junkrat, there's going to be a ton of damage for the supports to heal up, and then also a lot of energy for Agilities to eat up with his orbs to build up as well.
We'll talk about the comp in just a second. We're going to fight the call here. Oh, I don't think they're going to get too much out of the call. Soon's there. He's been waiting for his chance to spring forward. Energy. Just doesn't know what hit him. So trace the Junkrat. Reinhardt's Eye is interesting comp with the Moira here for the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, usually you run Moira with more tanks, right? You know, just keep everybody in a close area, just get a ton of No ult charge, gain a lot with your coalescence. It's kind of odd from Shanghai. Agility is gonna land a big grab here.
Great placement. The shield might still be a problem. Oh, there it is! It's the Hail Mary pulse bomb. The Big Bang combo, as we had it named so many moons ago. And Soon hasn't forgotten how to press Q.
All right, so this is where Shanghai needs to take the point back, Mitch. This is their best opportunity. 60% counting on the clock for the Valiant. They have grab, they can combo that with whether it's an Earth Shatter.
They have an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, they have a million different ways they can win this fight.
Roshan ambling forward here. Oh, self-destruct thrown in here. This could be potentially dangerous. It is going to force the Shanghai Dragons to split out of their initial formation. Sound barrier was well timed here to keep the Valiant healthy despite the graviton. That's a good Riptire though. Verbo and Fate are dealt with by that one, but how many ultimates do Shanghai have to use to win a fight?
You win the fight, but you would have liked to hold on to at least one or two.
You can't take any risks anymore,
No.
right? It's 85% to 0. Something. I mean, they didn't use the coalescence to their credit.
Yeah, but now, I mean, Unko's going to have his coalescence. You're going to have a pulse bomb and then a Earth Shatter on the opposing side. So a few good ults make
Oh no!
Soon will get to the point. Just trying to bring some players back.
Okay, that's the recall there, so Soon. Oh no! Really fine! He found Dia! He got rid of the Junkrat. That's so big. The main portion of the Shanghai Dragons' damage has been taken out of the game in the most important fight of this map. That's so big. Soon could just pick and choose. It was like a lucky dip, and he came up with the jackpot. Unko finds 2 classic kills with that coalescence there. And damn, that's rough. Soon was more in trouble than anything else, but he had the blink charges to get out after being forced to recall early. He just happened to recall right behind the enemy team. It may have been planned, but still, that's so nasty.
And Shanghai makes some changes trying to get back here towards the point.
There it is!
They don't. I believe they actually switched off of their Tracer there at the end, who would have given you the best opportunity to touch, which is quite odd.
It's as simple as that. In desperation, Shanghai like, we need to mitigate Soon's impact. We need to bring in McCree, stun him, stop him, do something. Unfortunately, when you get this man playing like he is, 35 eliminations, 20 final blows, 6 deaths. Incredible.
Valiant hold on there. It's a very close match against Shanghai, but they'll take our lead going into the first half, up 1-0.
Oh no, Diva. Baby. Yeah, baby. Nice.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
It's halftime, and it is not all tied up 1-1, and one team is not leading 2-0. No, we had a draw in our first game. That means it's a 1-0 lead for the Valiant. They only need one more in the second half to lock things up, but if the Dragons are able to steal two, they could get their first match win of the regular season. Welcome back to Bren and Crumbs once again, and so far, we've seen some very interesting gameplay. The Valiant opened things up with 3 support players, and I want to just start here with the conversation. As we looked at Hanamura, we saw Verbo's in the mix, we saw Unko's in the mix, Kareev, who was playing Mercy in Stage 1, also in the mix.
Yeah, and Kareev used to be a DPS player way back in the day, so it's not too surprising to see him on this role. I wonder if it was a coaching decision. I'm not too sure just yet, because, I mean, Silkthread still available, along with Grim Reality, so it's...
And agilities.
And agilities, of course. So, like, it's more of a question, I guess, of what they wanted to run, because they were running some interesting comps, but, I mean, he mainly stuck to the hit scan. I guess it was just a change-up, they're testing things out. But, yeah, it was an interesting thing to make a note of.
And as we take a look at some of the highlights, you'll notice that Shanghai had a much better first attack. They were able to have more time in the bank. Unfortunately, though, they weren't able to get the second tick in their extra time pushes. So let's talk a little bit about what we saw from the Valiant. Why did they struggle on defense early on, and what adjustments did they make the second time around to hold Shanghai and keep it at a tie?
Well, Soon was having a great game, first of all, in order taking down other tracers, but it felt like Shanghai was a little bit more uncoordinated with their attacks, as opposed to staggering their ultimates in a more concise order. I think that's where they can really make strides in improvement, is just figuring out the timings of where they want to be attacking, and then especially keeping track of the opponent's ultimates. I think if they added that to their repertoire, this team would just be so much better.
Now, as we talked about in the pre-show, we mentioned that Shanghai, one of their strengths is control. They don't have a whole lot of control map wins, but when we look at the squad, this seems to be them at their best. What did we see going into that second game?
Well, I think the control is very specific to the fact that last time around in Stage 1, yes, you are. Now we're getting really creative with these props. Like, that's not just signs. We got actual sticks holding them up.
These are my 2 favorite people. We're hanging out later. All right. Let's talk Li Shang Tower. I can't wait to wear my angel wings out tonight.
Right. Last time they were good at control. It was when they ran Orisa Roadhog with Junkrat. So it's way different than what it is now, which with this kind of style, I think they were just still trying to find their footing.
And this map started off really rough. You had Verbo running out, booping 2 of you off the map if you're the Shanghai Dragons, but they were able to bring it back in the second round. What was different when it came to this heat?
In general, it's that sort of more mechanically skilled map, right? Control favors the more like individually playing very well, which Soon is very good at. You can see in this clip here, he gets the back cap, pushes them all the way onto the point, just absolutely getting kills after kill after kill in general across the board. And I feel like as well, it plays to Verbo's strengths a lot more. So a lot of the sort of struggles we saw Valiant in map number 1 was, I guess, me personally, from what I've seen, I believe that it's the fact that they're not as comfortable on this Lucio metagame with Verbo in the mix. But on Control, that's not really the case, because it's very sort of simple to play. There's not too much strategy. It's more or less you're running into it with the same sort of strat, regardless of what Control map you play on.
And Lucio gets you into that action a little bit faster. Let's talk about the second half now. We know King is going to be game number 3. Crumbs, let's come to you. I am so pretty. Kings Row is coming up next. If you're a Dragons fan, you need this game to win. My mom is so happy.
You're sounding extra angelic today, Puckett.
That's getting framed. Right in the living room.
How did the Dragons steal Kings Row, Crumb?
My baby's an angel.
I'll take the question because Crumbs is too sidetracked. How did they take Kings Row? Quad Tank is the name of the game. We said it was Shanghai earlier, and I feel like this is the way they take it today against Valiant. Shanghai want to come back. They stick to this this Quad Tank composition, and we start to see if they actually start to perform, which we know they can when they played against Dallas Fuel. We know that they're very capable of it. I think Quad Tank is the way to go.
We'll see if they bring it out. Game 3 is coming up on the other side of the break. Before we go, any Shanghai Dragons fans out there? All right, we got love for Shanghai. Who's cheering on the hometown squad of the LA Valiant? They're 1 game away. Kings Row coming up after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Valiant are up on the Shanghai Dragons 1-0. I think it's worth mentioning how well the Shanghai Dragons have been playing lately. They've been keeping their matches very close and making them very entertaining. As for the LA Valiant, they need to win this one out. I'm sure they're thinking about this because they don't want another situation like the last stage where they end up missing out on the stage playoffs due to map differential. So best believe they're going to come out firing. Guys, this is the last half of this week. Are you guys hyped for this? Y'all ready? All right, let's go ahead and get into it and send it over to our casters, Mr. X and Uber.
Thank you, Malik. It's been quite the week here to kick off stage 2, man. We've seen a new meta. We've seen new players now come out of that trading window, and even Puckett earned his halo. It's all happening here, but there's still one half of Overwatch to go. With the draw in the first map, though, now, it's still tenuous for the Dragons.
Yeah, and Malik talked about, the Shanghai Dragons have been playing better as of late, and they have some more players coming into the mix, later in stage 2. So expect them to get even better as it goes on. So Kareev will come back in for agilities. Seems like Kareev is playing a little bit of the role that we saw Silk Thread play. We can play a little bit of Genji. Maybe we see, Silk Thread play like a Junkrat at times, but really, Silk Thread who is playing a lot of the 76 Genji combination for this
and
team.
if it were required, he could play the Widowmaker and Soon would still be able to play that Tracer. I think that's quite important in this team, as we've often seen Soon take that role up, and then they've kind of been Sans Tracer, and they've maybe thrown a Roadhog in the mix, and Kareev's played that, or like the Bastion on Junkrat in stage 1. So, maybe that makes it a little bit more robust for them, because Kareev was also one of the Widowmaker players on this team in the past. Kings Row, interesting map. We got a bit to talk about heading into this first area. We see lots of Hanzo. Linksa has been playing Hanzo for the entirety of the map on the attacking side here. Attackers trying to force the defenders away and sort of push them up into that back corner there. And then, of course, that second stage, we really get to see the Reinhardt, the Zaryas come into the mix here a lot more. Pharah, also on this second stage for an attacking team, is quite potent. Junkrat is definitely still a go-to pick. So I love this map. Not because it's just classic Overwatch to me, it's just that it's the first map I ever played in the closed beta, but also because it gives us such a wide range of different comps.
Yeah, I love that it just, from point to point, the comps can change so drastically. That maybe that first point on offense, right, you want to run a dive, get in there, get to the high ground. Then on the second stage of the map, maybe you want to Rein Zarya to eat up a lot of that damage in that close quarter area towards the end of the map. There's so many different things you can do, whether you want to play dive again, do you want to go up for the high ground, do you want to play a Hanzo and really kind of punish a team in those close areas. So it'll be the Valiant on defense here. It looks like we'll be seeing a triple tank composition. Well, they'll have Kareev play Zarya. They'll have Soon play the Widowmaker.
Unko on the Ana. This is always fun to see. Always fun to see Unko back on this pick. Definitely something to look out for. And, wow, they put Sideshow's spray in the game. Where's mine?
Yeah. He's Sideshow there with his cast on the wall. But I think for Shanghai, they played a very good first 2 maps. If they can just keep Roshan alive, keep those deaths down. We've seen some great play from Roshan, and we've seen some stuff where they're just not the best. I think if you
feast or famine.
Yeah, I think if you can just get him playing a little bit safer, I think Shanghai can definitely steal one of these next 2 maps.
Okay, so Undead came out with McCree. I think seeing the Widowmaker, or at least being informed there was a Widowmaker who's gone to the Roadhog here. It's a little bit more robust. So they are going to play that triple tank push in. D.Va, Ryan, Roadhog. No Zarya. We know that Dia plays a really good Zarya. We saw that on Hollywood earlier on. But look at this. Shanghai speed themselves in through that Alderworth Hotel. Now they can actually sort of get around behind, cut off maybe some of the reinforcements if there were kills to happen here. They seem happy to fight from this position, but man, this is a war of attrition, man. There's a lot of HP on the field.
They have to back out because Roshan's shield gets destroyed there. So they don't want to peek around that corner and just give Soon an easy opportunity to land a headshot. It looks like MG just taking the scenic route here, trying to challenge Soon up on that high ground.
Make it hard to headshot the D.Va as well, of course. Look up so he can't just burst your health down straight away. Soon goes down to MG, so finally, MG's labor bears some fruit, but unfortunately the rest of the Dragons weren't there to capitalize. They all went down. The MG just getting a bit of a zap. Finally staggered down, which is going to be frustrating for the Dragons. Obviously, they're not going to run a Mercy composition here, so they have...
Here is where Shanghai really struggles, not having that great projectile player, right? Because you could play a Genji into this comp, right? And just challenge Soon up top. And then really, if he's able to eliminate Soon as a Genji player, right? You have some easy targets to build up your Dragon Blade off of.
Okay, enemy's going to be used here, Madness, but the fight starts. Good fire grenade there from Unko, making it hard. The Riptide, though, whipped in through the side and it connected with Verbo. So now you see Fate wanted to be aggressive, but all of a sudden he realizes he needs to put his shield up, but it doesn't save him against the Coalescence. Altering will not be denied. Takes down Kareem, but did most of the damage to Fate there with his shield up, and that's a nice fight from the Dragons. A player got trapped up there from the Valiant on the point, and I wasn't sure if they were just trying to trigger the trap and just sit there behind the shield. Either way, nice work. Good Riptide from Dia. That really cracked it open.
Yeah, no, it's MG who was able to get to that high ground, even though if he was hit by that biotic grenade from Unko, was still able to take out Soon. And once they dropped Soon and they had all their players up at that moment in time, there's just not enough damage on the side of the Valiant to really make a lot of impact.
I don't know how often we've been able to see Kareem Zarya. I would hazard a guess and say very rarely. So we did obviously see Soon play the Widowmaker in this case. My previous projections weren't exactly accurate. D is close to getting another Riptide here. Whole hog just around the corner, so we'll see now. It's a bit of poke. You can see the Fate wants to hold quite far forward, but that might actually work against them. Put the self-destructing over the top for Shanghai. Now they've created all this space. They've opened up all this area. Soon's Riptide just gets completely churned through there. And now Dia's got one of his own. Looking to really make a big impact with this one, trying to dodge, of course, away. And he's got on towards Kareem.
Really nice play there from Dia. You see Roshan pushing up here, does have that Earth Shatter. But MG will get that DMAC on MV. MV will drop. So Shanghai has a really good advantage here. They're up pretty much 2 players because Kareem just came back off a respawn. Now MV will too. It's going to be a battle of these Reinhardts. Who can get that better Earth Shatter out of Fate and Roshan in this next battle? You also have Altering with that Coalescence able to keep everybody topped up.
I don't think the Valiant are very comfortable playing this composition, Matt. This is the impression I get watching this now. The Dragons, conversely, though, look good, look confident, look well practiced. That's a 2-man Earth Shatter there. Roshan astutely keeps his shield up and doesn't commit to the fight too deeply on it. Oh, he blocks the Shatter. Nice one from Roshan there, and annoyingly Fate was able to get very little there for his efforts. Coalescence now, the Valiant using everything, every trick in the book, everything at their disposal here to try and stave off the assault of the Dragons, but they've lost Unko now after the Coalescence was finished. That's a big self-destruct though. Roshan couldn't get away, he was trapped in the corner. Of course the Graviton didn't make it any easier.
Yeah, that's going to be the big grab there at the end. For a second, I thought it was going to go well for Shanghai because Undead actually hooks Fate when he's trying to block that Diva self-destruct. So that's how they're able to get one with the self-destruct. Roshan did a nice job, blocking Fate's Earth Shatter. The grab at the end, though, just too much. Cleans up the rest of those kills. Dia will have a Riptire yet again, so building up this Junkrat ult very fast. Undead will switch off, so you're not going to be running that Roadhog anymore. They're going to be running Reaper here to try and cut through some of these tanks.
Oh, it's a bit of a throwback here, a bit of up close and personal fighting. Dia over the rooftops here. I mean, the Riptide gives itself away. It obviously makes a lot of sound. There's a lot of early warning here. This is going to force Fate back. Yeah, he just sneaks it in behind the shield. That's so nasty here. The Valiant now don't have a main tank. They don't have the shield to really work behind. They've got to go aggressive. They've got to commit now. They can't bide their time anymore now. They're lacking the Reinhardt. That's really going to punish them. Verbo down. That's an Earth Shatter. Soon gets caught. Kareem knocks on his rear end as well. Easy pickup. And you can see desperately Unko trying to fade out in the difference, but it's a fade to black for the Valiant in that fight.
Roshan has had a very good first 2 points here for the Shanghai Dragons. Some big Earth Shatters. He's able to, block Fate's Earth Shatter on the opposing side. So we kind of got critical of Roshan that previous map, but coming up here with a good performance on King's Row.
The Reinhardt seems to suit him, Matt. At least on this instance. MG spotted out the Widowmaker. Now it's Kareem this time. We've had 2 separate pilots of that hero on this round for the Valiant. Soon's found 5 King. That's a nice little pickup. We'll take that. It also means a sound barrier has been removed from the equation. Just what the doctor ordered.
Dead will go off the side as looks like you'll see MG fall as well. Dia switches off. I believe he's playing Junkrat for most of the time. He will go and play Zarya now. So we saw him play a good Zarya the other day on King's Row. On Hollywood, when they were able to take that first point attack against the Dallas Fuel. Now we'll see him play Zarya here towards the end. Potentially build up a ton of charge, taking in damage from Soon and Kareem.
Fate wants to push forward. A lot of confidence here. He knows he's going to have backup of some sort. And the Coalescence is there, but because the sound barrier came out and the Dragons are so durable, he decided he might be better off backing up. He's waiting. He's itching to use that Earth Shatter, but with 5 King down now, he might not even need to use it in this fight. Kareem is found. Altering sitting in the back line here, and now Fate's being tested. He has to go for it. He gets it. Unable to capitalize on it or follow up. He had to back away. He was too low on HP. And again, swing and hammer a whole round. Fate finds himself that DMAC on MG. But Undead's still there. He's low, but he's around, and now he's finally been removed. That could have been scary.
Yeah, some ultimates used there from the LA Valiant. They'll have their sound barrier and probably a Coalescence for this next fight. Dia with this Graviton Surge, it's kind of a throwback. Your Graviton Surge and your Death Blossom combination. You also have a self-destruct if you wanted to use it. Let's see if Shanghai can combo these ults. Finish this match.
A lot of big AoEs for the Shanghai Dragons, which, if used correctly, definitely the most powerful ultimates in the game. Caveat is a strong one. And the Valiant are unlikely to allow them to get ideal positioning. Just like that, they're knocking Roshan forward, trying to bait him in. They've removed that Reinhardt shield very early. That's because Soon's just been pelting it with grenades. But this might be the fight. Dia gets the Graviton Surge, the shield is 2 up. What's going to be the response? The Coalescence cutting straight through it like a hot knife through butter. There it is, Fate down, Undead breaks it down, of course, brings him no HP. Death Blossom brought out a lot of ultimates there from Shanghai.
And with 4 kills coming out there, Verbo's going to have to wait. Get everybody grouped up on him and then land a big sound barrier to see everybody coming out.
Oh, did I get there? Soon finally drops on sound barrier there as well. Oh, that was beautiful. Keeping Soon alive. He was just about to drop. The timing was perfect. Perfect from Verbo to get that sound barrier in. Altering and Fate both going down to respective D.Va self-destruction. Roshan swinging again. Soon gets 2 with the Riptide. That might be enough to relieve the pressure here. There's only 4 seconds left in the round, and the Valiant standing at the gates. They managed to hold back the tide of the Shanghai Dragons, and there will be no more from the red, yellow, and black here. The Valiant hold on. By the skin of their teeth, no less.
I was going to say, although Shanghai doesn't complete the map, they get it as close as humanly possible. So they do have a pretty good chance here on the defense. No, they just gotta put up a... It's not really even about putting up like a full hold right on King's Row. It's really just about burning that clock. So when that last part of the map comes up from point B to C, you have enough time to win 1 or 2 fights on that initial corner. Very tough corner to get around, and then you can put yourself in a good position to take the map.
That's what the discussion of how to obtain, value in fights, that's where that comes from. It's like, how can we make it the most costly for the enemy team to advance at the least investment of our own, in a sense of banking up those ultimates and having them there just in case. A lot of times, most of those ultimates should only be a contingency if you're a defending team and say, okay, well, we should only use these if we need them. How do we make this expensive? How do we force ultimates out of the enemy team? It's a transaction. You're trading ultimates, in a sense, at least. It's more important than trading ultimates. He's getting that first pick. We've seen that quite a few times from Soon in this match. He's been very good at cutting Shanghai's feet out from under them.
You see that box of victory there.
We've got to come up with a better name for that at some point, man. I don't know if it exists.
It's a box. If you get to the box, you win. So it's a box of victory.
Yep. No, I know why we say that.
Just informing you on why we say it. Some people like Brent need to be informed on a lot of these things. So.
Yeah, okay.
Just making sure you knew as well.
Yeah, I'm on board with that now at least. 20 seconds and we'll be into this one. Let's have a look at the Shanghai Dragons composition. No huge changes, to be honest, from their attacking approach. They actually have a Zarya straight off the bat here, if you notice on offense.
And they're going to run Junkrat Widowmaker in terms of DPS.
Okay,
so
short range.
Yep. A lot of burst with Dia. Maybe just knock some players up into the air. Undead shoots them out of the sky. The Valiant, they'll have Fate play Rein. Envy will play Zarya. Does Kareem come out and play this Hanzo? It looks like he is. They're going to go double sniper here on offense.
It's quite possible that other teams not only have played against the Houston Outlaws, the Hanzo, King's Row approach, but have also practiced it themselves. So now we're going to see Kareem have a crack at it. Let's see if he can live up to the Finnish player on the side of the Outlaws, who was excellent. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cast a Curse doesn't actually work this time. Nice to see it work this way for once. Yeah. You cheeky man. Okay. Not even breaking a sweat. Kareem, obviously, while clearly aware of the woe that he's causing the Dragons, just doesn't really seem to show it. That's the first point for the Valiant. Pick after pick.
And Hanzo is such a difficult hero to contest, because if you try and send like a Tracer or even like a Genji after him, right, he can just scatter that round and just take them out in one burst. It's like, I mean, he can even just take out of like a Winston extremely fast as well. So interested to see how the Dragons play around this. If they try and have Undead take him out from range, but a lot of you guys who play at home, you know how hard Hanzo is to hit in terms of Maker battle. It'll be a nano boost onto Fate. He'll actually get a pin there onto D and a big Earth Shatter.
That's huge! Fate is not done yet. Brings the hammer down. Sensible back to Valhalla. I guess I never really start there. But that nano boost there from Unko cost him his life. Ultimately, he was jumped upon in that fight. Very nice, though. Again, seeing more of that tank-oriented play. It's been a while since we've really seen Reinhardt's be prioritized with them. Normally it was, Winston's or such in the past.
And now the Valiant making a lot of progress here, Mitch. They're building up towards a Graviton Surge. There's no Diva on the opposing team. There's no, like, Transcendence to get on through it. You're going to be able to combo that Hanzo ult with it if you would like. But there's going to be Kareem using it through the wall. It's going to just split the members from the Shanghai Dragons. You don't see it getting any kills, but it forces half the members up, half the members back.
That's massive. They never saw it coming. And it has a delayed effect on the fight. It's not immediate. And it's not getting a huge amount of kills, but it literally forces 3 players of Shanghai to wait until the dragon passes.
It doesn't get damage, it doesn't get kills. It does lead to kills, though. And so is that the easier kills?
Do we call that a zoning ult, Matt?
Yeah. I mean,
pains me to say it.
It definitely is assisted in the kills that were gotten. So, yeah, Dia uses Riptire here, just trying to slow down the push of the Valiant.
Soon actually gets rid of that Riptire. No, gets rid of Dia, sorry. The Riptire still exists and Kareem goes down. Kareem playing so far forward. You got to be very confident if you expect to be able to take down a Riptire with a Hanzo shot. It didn't work out.
Well, here's a corner of the map that I was talking about where Shanghai could have put up a little bit better defense on the first 2. Maybe they would have had a better opportunity to hold. They still have a chance. There's a ton of time here for the Valiant, but this is the spot they would do it. They have Roshan with an Earth Shatter. See if he can land a big one. He was very good in the first half.
Wants to come forward, and they knew he wanted it. He gets it, but who gets really knocked down? Envy shielded himself, and if I'm not mistaken, a teammate to prevent that Earth Shatter from really having any impact. The CC, or the knockdown as it were, was not applied to any targets, at least within our field of view. And Kareem drops to Dia.
And now the Shanghai Dragons, they have a lot of long-range damage, right? No, Altering's going to be playing Zenyatta with the Discords. You have Undead playing McCree, and Dia will be playing Widowmaker. So they're going to be able, from a distance, take advantage here of the LA Valiant. There'll be that Riptire that comes in from soon. They have a Graviton Surge to use as well.
Graviton Surge has been used, and that was from Envy here. Any follow-up, though? Riptire doesn't get in there. Nice work by MG to stop it from at least blowing him and Roshan up, and now it's going to be a responsive Graviton Surge. This one looks a little bit better. Enough to secure Envy there. And they'll push forward a little bit more. Undead, yeah, this McCree pick's a bit interesting. Obviously, switching off the Junkrat, probably getting sick of charging up Envy or being unable to shoot at Kareem. How do you feel that's working out here?
I like the pick of the McCree and the Widowmaker because there's nothing on the side of the Valiant that can dive into the backlines and give them trouble. Although, I mean, see Kareem, they will land a shot onto Dia, take him out, and he'll force out that Transcendence from Altering. And there's a big Deadeye taken out too.
Now, Fake was unsure. I think he wanted to go for a bit of an Earth Shatter. He takes Altering with him. That was really ever all it was going to be.
With no Diva on the opposing side, no Tracer, nothing like a Genji, nothing to really get that back. See the Hanzo ultimate forcing some players out of position. Nice play there from Undead.
I feel like the Dragon Strike really achieved its intended purpose there.
No. No, they didn't get great value out of it. 5 King now with the only ult for Shanghai Dragons. You're going to have Unko with the nano boost. I imagine it goes on to Fate and they go in and try and get a big shatter, but it's going to be Dia who's done a nice job just kind of changing up every time off the spawn who he's going to be playing. Now he's playing Junkrat yet again.
Back to the drawing board for the Valiant with plenty of time now, but I mean, the Dragons were in the same position on Hanamura on that second run through with 4 minutes.
This would be an incredible defense. It would be a 5-minute hold here at the end.
Oh, Fate gets knocked out of position here and needs to charge forward. He has to try and get in range. He doesn't get a speed boost anymore from that nano boost. That's changed, of course. Wasn't really able to get much done with that. He wanted to be in the thick of things, but he was charged out by Roshan. Soon picks off Undead, so the Widowmaker changes hands once again on the side of the Valiant. Kareem on that Junkrat now, and they're starting to barrel forward a little bit more. You can see the Dragons are scrambling to try and get back in position and set up here, but they've given up a lot of ground.
Shanghai, though, they will have their Earth Shatter, and they'll have a Riptire plus Grab combination here, so they have a lot of ultimates. It's still the Earth Shatter in the hands of Fate. You can have Envy getting close to Grab as well, tried to bait it out.
Now Roshan almost got booped off the edge there as well. Berber was testing him, and Envy was the one to finally make him succumb. Fate's a little bit low. Here's the Graviton Surge. What's the response? That's the Riptire! For some reason, Fate went for the opposing Earth Shatter to try and stop any sort of follow-up. Didn't work, and he wasted that ultimate.
He knocked down 2, but there was no opportunity for follow-up there, so Shanghai holding on strong here at the end. Roshan still with this Earth Shatter. You have Altering now with a Transcendence. The Transcendence will be huge. He'll be able to get through that grab. But Kareem getting very close to this Riptire.
Is this happening? Will the Dragons hold here? It's starting to look just that much more likely. This Graviton is going to have to be pretty impressive. They've got both support ults here, so Unco again probably going to be giving over that mana boost to Fate. Good sleep dart there. No follow-up really able to be done. That's the grab though. Oh, they're all caught in one spot. This is going to be devastating. Quick use of the Transcendence to come in, but it's too late. It's too little. Fate comes in with 3 kills, of course. The swing of the hammer to claim 2. The charge in to open it up. That's the Graviton they were looking for. If there was any time, it had to be then. And they're going to sail on home now. Not much chance of Roshan getting out alive. And he doesn't. It's a cold shot, Matt. One of those plays that you know you need to make. You need to go big. And Envy delivers.
Yeah, it was a beautiful Graviton surge there from Envy. Not able to get the Transcendence from altering into position in time to heal up all those members of Shanghai. Shanghai did put up a very good effort, though, holding that 3rd spot. As you see, Bucket.
Analyze that, bro.
Heroes never die.
Good setup. I appreciate that as well. Okay, that is the series essentially for Shanghai. There's no way they can win it back. They want to get themselves a map, get themselves something here. One more map to come. The Dragons are not done yet.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe. We have one more game to go, potentially even more. Now, you know, earlier today we saw a big variety of different play styles. We saw a lot of different comms from each and every team, and Valiant is no different. They're also trying out a variety of new things. However, in this very game, some questions were raised because they started with 3 support players. Karif playing the Soldier 76 role, so a lot of people have been wondering about that. I used the halftime wisely and went to talk to their GM, Mike, who then told me that the reason we saw Karif on Soldier is his ability to actually play Soldier and Widowmaker, which is something we usually don't see from Silk Thread, who would be their usual go-to Soldier player. So there you have it, it's all part of the bigger plan. Let's see what they have in store for us on map number 4, and for all the action, we're heading over to UberX.
Thank you very much. So yeah, it's all about the bigger picture sometimes. We haven't seen a lot of Silk Thread play Widowmaker, so perhaps they just want a bit more flexibility there.
Well, usually it would be they would have Soon play the Widowmaker, so it seems like they want to just keep Soon on Tracer, which deservedly so. He's a very good Tracer player.
Yeah,
so.
we brought that up, and then in that last map on Kings Row, we saw both Soon and Karif play Widowmaker at some stage there. The Hanzo obviously was picked for quite a while by Karif. Again, it's becoming less uncommon. Just a hell of a lot, a rainbow of heroes now we're seeing.
We've seen a lot of. You see Freefield come in here for 5 King for the final map, and then you're going to see Agilities come in for Karif on the other side of things for the Valiant. I think we've seen. I expected not as large of a hero pool as stage 1, just because I thought having Mercy in the game, right, with how strong she was, just enabled a lot of different heroes. I'm pleasantly surprised though. We've seen a lot of the different heroes been represented here in stage 2.
Don't say every hero, bro.
Nope. We've seen Symmetra in the spawn. That's about it.
Yeah,
technically, she's been there, but not really been there.
Yeah, look, it'll be a little while yet. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to Gibraltar, though. I'll see some very serene coastline views are going to belie the true nature of the action we're actually going to see on the map itself, which is going to be nothing short of brutal. Definitely not serene.
So on this map, you bring in Agilities, because now if you wanted to run Widow, you would pair the Widow with a Genji, and then you can have Agilities play Genji in this type of situation. So that's probably why you see the change here for the Valiant.
Yeah, too shocking there. Which means that Unko and Verbo are going to be playing support, which means, again, it follows that. We're going to see a bit more of that Lucio action. And Unko, I expect him to play that Ana on defense. I mean, if there's ever that player that's going to play Ana defense on Numbani or on this map, definitely Unko. Zen is an option for him on the attack.
They did play Verbo on Mercy in the 1 week that he subbed in for Unko. So they do have the ability to have Verbo play either Lucio or Mercy here.
That would make more sense as an attacking team, right, to pair with your Widowmaker, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Widow and Mercy is still a very strong combo in terms of damage boosts, and then if they dive it, you just clean up some of those kills, you res that Widowmaker right back up. So I think she's clearly the safest target for Resurrection, the Widowmaker, so I think that is still a very good combination.
I guess even without a Widow of yourself, but knowing that your team might get shot by Widow players, it's easy to get those reses in the backline because you're not having to res in the middle of a team fight. You have a little bit of safety about it.
I would also say this is a map, Gibraltar, where you can have a lot of players, just kind of alternate between high ground and low ground, where you can play Mercy without the Widowmaker because it gives you a lot of options to fly to different people, right? You can use the Guardian Angel to just get to many people up on the high ground. You can get out of harm's way rather quickly. So I do think you potentially could see the Mercy quite frequently on defense, even without Widowmaker. Shanghai, they'll make some adjustments. No Torb on the offensive side here, as Roshan will be playing Winston. Yet again, I thought his Reinhardt was very good. Just got to see him get some more support when he's playing Winston.
All right, first things first. Get forward onto that payload and start up moving along. And you can see the Valiant. Again, they hope for an early pickup there. If someone actually peeks onto that causeway or inside the room on the top right, and they get picked off, then the Valiant probably just fight and they win 65, but no one really takes the bait. They're all going to back away as a unit. You can see that now they've been spotted out. Dia just takes a slap from somewhere or other, forces his recall, which means he has to pretty much leave. He can't hang around. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Agilities with the damage boost there, if I'm not mistaken. It was been given by Verbo. Just hot Dia like a balloon.
Yeah, the first time he gets hit with the Discord, and then Unko hits one shot and just forces him to recall. Agilities goes in with the damage boost, finishes him off. See if Undead can catch anything here.
This is the map where Agility's got his famous 6K with the Dragon Blade in that server room on attack. That was Contenders game, wasn't it? It was you and Golden Boy.
That'll never happen again.
What, you and Golden Boy?
You stole my joke. I was going to say that.
Too easy, Matt. Too easy. Dia down. Every found him now. Undead in a position to at least try and come forward. I don't think he noticed agilities over his left shoulder though, so he may, oh, okay, he goes in for Unco anyway. SMG mode just throws himself here at the Valiant, but that's going to be resurrected here.
Shanghai not able to get that cart around the corner. Agility's building up towards that Dragon Blade. Undead will switch off of Widow, go over to 76. This is where I feel like they've seen the most success, where you have Dia play Tracer, and Undead pick up one of the other hit scan heroes. I think, personally, I think his McCree and his 76 has looked very good. I think, they just haven't really figured out a way to play around his Widowmaker yet.
So they're feeling the Tracer a bit, which means they were going to want to play around that server room a little bit more. But Undead's already missing. He's been taken down by Fate here. This is such a stoic defense from the Los Angeles Valiant here. Again, it's those first picks, they're producing opportunities off that, or as a defensive team, they're relieving pressure by finding those early picks. And there's definitely a sense that Shanghai are looking a little bit scattered in their position.
Yeah, I mean, right now you look at just, kills to deaths. Shanghai with 7 deaths and just 1 kill. There really hasn't been an opportunity for, one of those big first fights, right, where they're able to, get a lot of damage down, make it a little scrappy, and force something out. Undead has had to switch heroes, 3 times now, and now he's going over to McCree. Gonna reset his ultimate 3 times as well, so you're losing a lot of ultimate charge here.
It's a very simplistic view if they're just trying to use it to get rid of these flankers, but hey, let's see if it works out. Burbo just gets popped while he was using Valkyrie. God, he's gonna hate that. He's not gonna be happy at all. And agilities now, that healing that was present before no longer is. He may have to rely on the Dragon Blade here. Unco drops down, Transcendence. Everyone breaks cover or gets into cover to get away from the explosion of that self-destruct. See agilities now, always got to get away from the pulse bomb. He does, but he's taking a lot of damage. Again, constantly being rounded on by MG, and he's going to go down. Good response. Undead drops back and finds him.
Yeah, Shanghai did a really good job in this fight. They're able to just kind of section off agilities, make sure he doesn't get a big blade, but they're not able to get any of these kills in the follow-through, Mitch. You have a fight where it starts off so good, right? Free Feel just snipes Verbo out of the sky as soon as he uses Valkyrie. You live through some of these other ults, just not able to follow it up with any kills of your own, and now we're at a very scary part of the game, right? Altering has that sound barrier, you don't have a Transcendence, you just used it. You have a Dragon Blade on the other side, and Dead does have his Deadeye though, so we'll see if he can get in a nice position.
Bomb for soon. Again, generally prefers just to go in and get those assassinations. He's very, very good at the anti-tracer play. Dragon Blade in over the top though, there's definitely some ultimates being committed into this fight, and Agilities is hoping to be at the top of the podium. No, MG forces him back and fizzles a little bit there. The sound barrier was well timed by Altering.
Yeah, but now you're not going to have that sound barrier here towards the later half of the game, and you're going to have 2 support ults for the LA Valiants. It'll be Undead taken out soon, but you do have Verbo up in the sky using his Valkyrie, keeping everybody topped up. You're going to have Unco with this Transcendence in a second.
Yeah, Fate's able to get away and get quick healing because, of course, now that Valkyrie's in play for Verbo. Transcendence here from Free Feel, and Undead was hoping to get a finish on Fate. He connected the flash, but the barrier was in the way. The ability had been queued up before the flash hit. Envy, that's huge! Free Feel and Undead are going down, and Dia now has a lot on his plate here. He's got rid of Envy right now. You can see Roshan's close to the payload. Altering is also there. You've got everything you need. Tank, support, and DPS, but unfortunately it may be more. They just might need more of those classes, Matt. Fate's knocked away. Primal Rage from Roshan. He's not getting a lot of attention. That is it. Shanghai Dragons spent a lot of that round eating dirt and damage, Matt. Very, very difficult for them to make any progress there. Couple of moments, Undead had a good game. The McCree switch actually seemed to have worked.
Yeah, I mean, and they have moments where, they get a few kills, right? Things go their way. They're able to take Verbo out of the sky while he's using Valkyrie. Before he can get anything for it, they even negate the effects of Agility's Dragon Blade. So this is kind of cool. They actually send Fate on in, and then the self-destruct follows them right up. So.
And the sound cue might have been really hard because that self-destruct was shot such a long distance, you don't have much warning once it lands, and followed up with the fact that you're being displaced, you're being knocked into it. This is actually something, by the way, that's also why Poker gets so many. Poker gets a lot of self-destruct kills because Fraggy knocks people into them as well with that Primal Rage. So it's not the first time you see it. And if you see the kill feed with Poker getting mad self-destruct kills, you can generally surmise that Fraggy has had some part in that. It's a good combo, the 1-2 punch, and it punishes teams like setups like that with a McCree. When you play 3-3 split, you keep the McCree back with your 2 supports, completely take them out of the fight. I mean, not having a Zen and McCree in the fight is just devastating.
So the LA Valiant will just have to get pretty much to point A to win this map. So this is what we expected from them on offense, right? You can bring in agilities to play the Genji, combo that with Soon on the Widowmaker. Just depends on whether Unco wants to play Ana or Zen. He'll play Zen here.
Yep.
Now Undead will play 76 on defense. this is where we see some teams get in a tough spot because they see the Widowmaker on the other side. They don't have that long-range damage on their defensive end. So where do you set up? You set up here a little bit closer, try and put pressure on the Widowmaker. If there's a chance she just headshots you, it's also easier to just dive you up in this position. You play all the way in the back, you leave your supports in a spot where they potentially could get sniped.
And the problem here is that Altering won't be able to heal the front line of the Dragons if they drop off in towards the Valiant. So when you see an Ana set up like this, it's a giveaway that the Dragons are going to want to try and play around that checkpoint. There's no reason for the... You know, like some teams play aggressive and dive right here on attackers when they're trying to stop them when, you know, the checkpoint is very close, where in this case it is. But the Ana's a giveaway. She can't really do much if her team gets too aggressive. And now the Dragons just coming back in waves. They're going to give a lot of ground to the Valiant. And they want to hold for 3.5 minutes. One fight. They have to win every fight for 3.5 minutes.
It looks like they're setting up for just one fight here. Dia trying to come on a flank. Touch it soon a little bit. You see how scary it is with the Widowmaker on offense, right? The 76 is pushed all the way to that back left high ground. There's not really much they can do here.
Soon being threatened, but he hears it coming, or at least he has a feeling, a premonition perhaps. A shot in towards Dia is enough to ward him away for the time being. And now the Infraside, that's big. Fate looks like he wants to get aggressive though. It's backfired. Nice bio grenade from Altering there. That burst healing was so important for the Dragons to deal with that onslaught. It's such a great answer to dive or impulse-based damage. And Shanghai have weathered the storm for now.
Yeah, and they give Roshan the nano boost just to keep him up during that fight, so they're able to hold on. A lot of payload progress though made by the LA Valiant for really not a lot of kills here. So, it's really just I think like 1 or 2 that happened for Shanghai. So they've really just been able to move this payload. Not really doing
Shanghai
much.
have given it up. They gave up that distance because they just don't want it Ana.
It's a positioning battle. You see Agilities now go over to Tracer, trying to land a pulse bomb up top.
This is less than normal. It's definitely not not normal, is what I'm trying to say, from Agilities. Verbo gets picked on pretty early. Now notice that Roshan's very low, so a kill there would have been big. Roshan's trying to get away. Again, Bionade thrown on the 2 tanks there. Altering's doing such a good job of playing this Ana right now. And this is actually provoking Soon to go for the Widow and say, we need to access this Ana. If we can't kill her or remove her in some other way, she's going to burst heal their tanks, and we aren't going to be able to win this war of attrition.
They did use their tactical visor in that fight. Agilities will go to Genji now. Soon will go to Tracer. They're just going to go with a straight dive. They're just going to try and win this straight dive composition. You're going to have Verbo. So the thing for the Valiant that's huge right here is that they're going to have 2 ultimates where they can just sustain through a lot of damage. You're going to have Valkyrie and you're going to have Transcendence here. On the other side, you just have that Transcendence.
Oh, Soon's recall immediately forced there. He was diving and then he backed away. Okay, Transcendent. This is when the Valiant want to disengage if they possibly can. You can see Agilities is sheepishly dropping back down and hoping the rest of his team gets out too, but no. Agilities the first casualty of this fight. Verbo does have the Valkyrie, but getting a resurrect in that position is really hard right now. It's up to Envy to get into the back line or at least separate the front and back lines respectively. And that self-destruct now is a cause for concern for the Valiant. They need to back away. The alarms are klaxoning. Fate up on the point, drops the barrier there as well, trying to chase Roshan, but Roshan's got Primal Rage and he's got Unco in his sights and he's not leaving until he's done with him. Everyone's trying to peel, but it's not enough and Roshan will have his prize.
Shanghai trying to hold on here. It'll be Soon connecting with the pulse bomb onto Undead. It looks like the Valiant will back out for now. They did use a ton of ultimates in that fight, Mitch. Shanghai Dragons, they hold on to their attack visor. You're gonna have a nano visor combination here at the end. Verbo will switch off of Mercy after just using Valkyrie. Gonna provide the speed boost to his team with Lucio. I think it's really going to come down to the Dragon Blade versus what they can get with that nano visor combo.
This is starting to look very good for the Dragons. Agilities has only found himself 1 final blow in this round and not a lot of damage. Unco, respectively, with 4 final blows himself. So Agilities definitely needs to get in there now. A Dragon Blade would definitely be what the Doctor ordered. Again, Valiant trying to break the deadlock in the dying seconds. Minutes from midnight, and now it's time to go. Undead running away, trying to get that sprint. No! It's a little turnaround. Agilities lazily over the back shoulder, sent him packing. And that's 2 easy kills for that man. Cleanly picked up, Ultra in to fall down. It's MG and Dia, they're trying to stall, they're trying to stop the payload from moving, but that heroic effort from Agilities in there just to try and break the dam, to break through. You can see the wireframe of Undead is coming back in with a tactical visor, but he's going to get pushed out of position. The Transcendence from Freefield, he gets onto the payload, but now he's being used, knocked around the place. No one for the Dragons can get back. And that man on your screen gets the Valiant home. Barely in one piece, mind you, but it had to be then. It had to be the Dragon Blade. And the boy delivered again.
Yeah, it's not pretty for the Valiant there at the end. It was a great defensive hold, not a great push. Shanghai held on the defensive end for such a long time, but Agilities gets that Dragon Blade, puts it to use before the nano boost could really come out to really great effect. With that tactical visor, and then Freefield dies just as he's about to get Transcendence.
And you can see the Dragons are emerging as very apt defensive players, right? If you give them a setup, if you give someone altering that Anna, if you allow them the opportunity to sort of know when to peel back and not have to be the proactive team, the one taking the risk, then yeah, they're very solid, very robust approach. But when they have to get aggressive, it can hurt them there. A close series, actually, and the score might not indicate that, which is the way the game goes. But let's now head over the desk after a fantastic week 1 of Stage 2. Puckett and our experts break it down.
Thank you so much, fellas. Stage 2 has been quite fun so far, and the Dragons, they fell today, but they managed to tie map number 1. They look good on their defense. The squad definitely has potential moving forward, and I want to start there. Let's start with the good side of things from the Shanghai Dragons. Valiant walks away with the victory tonight, but what should you be proud of if you're a Dragons fan?
Go on it, Crumbs. I mean, he was looking at you, pal.
The entire time.
No, I was
the
looking
entire
at
time he was looking
Undead
at you.
the entire game, right? And I was trying to figure out what the Shanghai Dragons were doing that we could improve on. That they have a lot of good hero swaps that I think are effective for them, but there is a clip that, for me, highlights exactly what this team can improve upon, because there are many negative things that there's just no point in bringing this up. This is exactly, well, this is just the Reinhardt coming out of Fate, but in King's Row is particularly where I think the Shanghai has a lot of room for improvement, where they can just become so much better if just make minor tweaks, and it's at the end of this third point. Well, I guess we're not going to get it.
Yeah, I'm excited personally, Crumbs, for these additions that Shanghai are eventually going to be getting, right? At a certain point during Stage 2 or Stage 3, when they get these additions coming in, then the roster is going to be sort of revamped, reinvigorated, and they're already starting to improve as it is, right? They're already slowly creeping up wins, draws here and there against some of these good teams. Valiant, nothing to be scoffed at. This is a team that has a lot of talent on paper, so the fact that Shanghai are making it a close series is very, very promising.
Shanghai almost held the Valiant on that first point, but it's the Valiant walking away with the Game 4 victory. Let's take a look at some of the best moments of this game, because there were some big plays on both sides. It was nice to see the Genjis back in action to close it out. When you looked at Gibraltar, what were we seeing from our squads, friend?
All in all, just fantastic DPS play, I think, is the really name of the game here. Agilities with the end game clutch on his Dragon Blade. We'll probably be seeing that in a bit of time at least. But Undead as well tried his hardest, bless him, to really try and pull his team out, pull the bootstraps up. They almost got the defense going on Gibraltar. It was so close, which is what the Shanghai Dragons do excel at on a regular basis, is that defense.
We like the Shanghai defense, but it's the Valiant walking away with the victory, and it's in no small part due to the player of the match's performance. This is your player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP, and it's the tank Fate back in action today. We've talked about how he's one of the main callers for the squad, organizing the team to pounce. Today, he went off not only with the Winston, but it's so good to see him on Reinhardt.
Yeah, his Reinhardt there was just a fantastic pick for him, but the fact that he gets to be nano boosted and utilize that, and this was the game-winning play from them in this map. Had this play not happened, Shanghai would have actually tied this series up, and we would have had a decider Gibraltar match. So the fact that he can come up clutch while still remaining a consistent part of this team gives him the player of the game.
So not even that as well. I mean, these are his Winston stats, which are already just fantastic. Fate is one of my choices for one of the best tanks currently that we're seeing in this league. But when he was playing Reinhardt on King's Row, he did 5,000 more damage than Roshan as well on the Reinhardt role, which is just incredible. But 15 deaths across the entire match with 83 eliminations on Winston. That's not bad at all. You can't really argue with it.
We've seen some amazing Winston play today. Go back and watch the VODs on OverwatchLeague.com if you missed any of the games today. And we'll also catch you up right now with where we're at in the standings. If you're looking purely at Stage 2, the 10 matches per team, well, we've got a nice start for the Philadelphia Fusion up top at 8 maps, 0 maps dropped. Perfect since adding EQO into the lineup. Who are some of the other squads to look out for moving forward, Bren?
For sure, the Dallas Fuel, right? These guys seem a little bit reinvigorated with these additions, or not additions, these changes to the roster. Definitely looking forward to those guys as we're moving forward.
And Crumbs, as we take a look at the overall standings, yes, New York still at the top with a 10-2 record. Houston and Seoul right behind them. Who else do you expect?
My curiosity was piqued by Philly, to be honest. The fact that they're 8-4 means only 2 losses away from being the #1 squad, even though they're map differential is not very good. If they can continue to play the way they did today, I think that this team has incredible expectations.
And speaking of that Fusion squad, they have a major test next week on Thursday. You don't want to miss the opening day in March. It is the Outlaws versus the Fusion, and we cap things off next week. Yes, it's the Outlaws. It's New York. It's where the match we were all hoping to see at the end of Stage 1. We get it now here in Stage 2 with the brand new meta. It's been a great day. Shout out to everyone in the crowd, especially our birthday girl. Where are my angel wings? She's already gone. I miss you already. Please come back next week. We'll see you all on Wednesday. Once again, matches kick off at 4 p.m. Pacific.